Got my new rack in from Prinsu. I'm going to go ahead and install that today. Let's take a look at it. Hardware in here. This looks like the molding for the fairing. Got driver's side. Passenger side. Got all the crossbars here. Fairing, stickers, which are always important. Alright, so I've got everything unboxed here. I just kind of laid it out to make sure everything was here. Everything looks good. We got the side pieces. We got 5 of the regular crossbars that have cutouts for sliding in things. And then we have 1 bar without cutouts, and I assume that attaches to this wind fairing. You have a weather stripping for the edge of the wind fairing where it touches the body, I assume. There was no instructions in this, so I'm kind of guessing on everything. Torx bolts, judging by the count, looks like these attach the bar to the side plates. We have these slide in regular Phillips heads. These look like they attach the fairing to the crossbar. And then obviously we have the mount kit here. It also came with some purple Loctite. Alright, I'm going to start by installing a couple of the crossbars. Now these have small cutouts here, 2, 3, 4, 5. I assume since there are 5 crossbars, that's where they're meant to go. And then these sections are for if you want to move a bar around. So I'll just use these, that way it'll make it easier to line up the 2 sides. So these have little cutouts in them. These are going to go on top, that's for sliding in the little T connectors and stuff to attach stuff to the rack. So I just put those 2 in here. Just so you can see that. Just got them both started through the little gap. I'm a dummy. I forgot you need to slide these little slide nuts or whatever they're called onto this piece before you put it on the rack. So I gotta pull that back off. Alright, so for these, there's a couple spots that they're held in. It's glued in right here towards the front. And then there's another glue spot here in the rear. It's like glued down there. Let's see if I can get that out. So I got the drip rail molding pulled out all the way back. I'm not gonna use that again. Some people like to cut it up and you put it back in. I'm not really worried about it. Looks like it traps more junk than it protects. I didn't spend a whole lot of time getting the old glue out of the channel. I'm gonna clean it out in the spots where the feet go. All right, so in an effort to get this thing as even as possible, I've been trying to kind of eyeball it, but it's hard to do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the tape measure and butt it right inside this up against the windshield molding. I'm gonna go about, I'm gonna say 10 inches back here, because that seems to be approximately where it looks the best. Where it follows the line of the truck. Let's stick that in there. Good, so that's 10 inches back. I'm gonna make a little mark right there. I'm going to do the same thing here on the passenger side. Shove that right up against the windshield molding. And do a little mark at 10 inches. 10 inches right there. Okay, so what I did was took the foot of the rack, I lined it up, hope you can see that. I lined it up, the front hole up with the marks I made on the roof. All right, next I'm gonna go ahead and drill out a pilot hole. Ugh, I don't know what size bit this is, it's just a small one. I just grabbed it out of the box. So I held the little capture nut, or whatever you call those things, up to a drill bit, and it looks like they're about a 3/8 hole. So I just made this little tape stopper for my step bit. So take it down to 3/8. Yep, that's it. All right, let's go do the other side. All right, just to save someone some headaches, I just spent 10 minutes trying to figure out why this bolt wasn't long enough to go through the this little, I don't even know what the heck you call this thing, but this is how you put these capture nuts in. And I was like, why won't this grab? And I just figured out that they include one bolt that's slightly longer than the other ones, and that's the install bolt for these guys. So don't be like me, use the long one to start. So for sealer, I don't know what Prinsu recommends, but I have this stuff left over from building my micro camper. I used it to seal all my windows and doors and anything that needed sealing. It works really well. It's not silicone based, it's like Habba Dabba Beautifila kind of mean. So it works really well. I wouldn't use anything silicone based. Silicone breaks down too quickly in the elements, I find. So something like this, or RTV, or I know they like make marine gasket sealer and stuff. Any of that stuff should be fine. I'm gonna use this stuff. All right, so I'm gonna just put a little bit of this gunk around the hole. Actually, I'll probably put it around the base of that. I'll put it around the hole. Do a tiny little smodule there. Then we'll take this guy. Let's tap that guy down in there. There we go. So that's nice and tight. All right, so I figured out that this little bolt is 7/16 and the nut thingamajigger is 1/2. So you just want to tighten this down. All right, so I've got just those front bolts finger tight, and I'm just walking around eyeballing everything. Looks like it's nice and straight from the front. I'm comparing it with the drip rails, so it's just about, you know, an inch or so outside the drip rail on this side, an inch or so outside the drip rail on this side. Everything looks pretty good. It's lined up nicely with the doors. Nice straight line. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come back and I'm going to go ahead and drill out the rest of the mounts one at a time, going back and forth, and put all those little capture nut things in there, seal them in. tip I discovered: use a 10-inch ratchet. I was started with an 8-inch, and it felt like it was torquing down. I really had to lean on it, but it just wasn't getting tight enough. With a 10-inch, the feel is a lot better, where those capture nuts are tight and secure like they should be. So 10-inch ratchet, it's the best one. Alright, so the next step, again, I don't know if this is the right way to do it, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a big old glob of sealer, again, put it right over top of the bolts, like so. And I'm going to take the spacers and put them right, let's get some of that in there, put them right on top, like so. So I'm going to get the rack on the spacer here. I'm going to put the bolt in. Find the frickin' same thing for these. Get it started. Try not to cross thread this. Go ahead and get everything in its final position. All right, install is complete. Looks pretty good. It's spaced a little high off the roof here. Like, they could have made those spacers a ½ inch shorter. I may make my own spacers, just drop it down on the roof. I mean, the clearance looks pretty good. They probably do that so that when you have a little bit of flex on the crossbars, if you have some weight on them, they don't touch the roof. But I mean, it sits pretty tight to the roof, but if it was a 1/4 inch to a ½ inch lower, I think it would look a little bit more streamlined. But regardless, I like it. I think it looks pretty good. And I don't intend on putting a ton of weight up there, but I may put up a solar panel that trickle charges my battery just when I'm parked and camping and whatnot. That would be nice. Or I have some of these rigid boxes. I may store some tools up there. I don't know. It depends on how much the wind noise annoys me. Anyway, little extra storage never hurt. Looks good. Can't go wrong with black. And for the price, I'm not mad at it.